Oh, hello. Welcome back to my global digital school of art. I've just been sitting around here waiting for you, gathering a little bit of information about our subject matter, enjoying my cup of tea. So now you're here, let's return to the studio and get this lesson underway. For the students who have been practicing my little doodle shrub come Christmas tree, I'm now going to take this little tree and I'm going to expand it into a much larger tree. As they say, from great oaks, from little acorns grow. Right, now, when students first arrive, I don't know what their skills are, but I will ask them to paint or draw a tree. Now, I do not want to go and look at what they've actually achieved or not achieved, because I will ask them to put that to one side. It's not for me to view. Now, I do know that a lot of students, they may have stopped painting when they was 12 years old, 8 years old. A lot of them probably by the time they were 13, 14, they found a lot more interesting things in life, each other for a start. And so therefore, they will have picked up from where they actually left off. Now, it's not, I use humour, but I never directly at any student. So I know roughly what they're going to do. They're going to do this. There's going to be their tree, and there's going to be the trunk. Right, now what I'm actually looking at is a telegraph pole. Right, it's straight up, and there's a cabbage or sprout on top. Okay, lettuce, and that's natural, and it is normal to do that. I did it as a child as well. So therefore, I mean, say we've got a situation where we've got a solid green block at the top there. No bird can fly through that without getting a bent beak, right? You'd have a pile of birds underneath the telegraph pole here, or it would look like a dartboard. So we need to re-look at that. And as for the telegraph pole, look, yes, telegraph poles, they are lumber or timber, but it's man interfered with it, so he's straightened it out, he's put his bars on there, and off we go. We've got our telegraph wires hanging on that. So I need to change that. The other thing is, they always look, because that is absolutely true, as though man dug a hole and put it in, because that is how we manage to get them where we want them to be. Okay, right, now the next thing is, when it comes to their branches, they do branches like so, and they put their leaves on, and quite often they will actually put leaves on like this. Now, I can go, when I look at them, I realise that they're not leaves, they're little green budgies or birds sitting on a stick, right? So I need to change their way of thinking about this tree. So I will sort of do what I'm doing here now, and then when they go back and look at their own tree or do another tree, their thinking will have changed, because this is really what a lot of this is about. It is about technique. It is about practicing your skills with your brushes and your pencils, but really very, very important, it is your way of looking and thinking about things. Now, one of the reasons I actually get my students to do their own tree before I get underway is because teaching at its best is when a student has got questions. So while I'm sort of chatting on, they will only take on board that which is relevant to their problem at that given time. Now, I may come over as a bit condescending sometimes. I really do not mean to. A lot of my students are very, very high profile and skillful within their own field. So if I was to go along and play in their backyard, I too would be a little bit childlike, and I will have to ask a lot of questions, because that's how I learn, by asking questions. But first of all, I must have that question in order to understand the answer. Okay, here we go. Look, this is a little bit of computer paper, and I've got a 4B pencil here. Okay, so now let's talk tree. A tree is no more than a plant, not unlike your indoor plant. But okay, look, it's a little bit larger, and I need to start thinking, swaying like a tree, because it is not a rigid object. So let's get this underway. Now I've started from from the base, from the ground, because that's where the tree actually grows from, and it breaks through the surface as a little sapling. Okay, now there's my tree, is starting to grow. Now it starts to grow a little bit taller, and look, I'm using my pencil on the side. Let me just zoom that in a little bit for you there. Look, I'm using my pencil on the side, and look, I'm twisting my pencil as I'm actually climbing up this tree. And look, I'm creating like fibres, because that's what trees are. They're just a collection of fibres, tightly bound together. Right, now as I go up the tree, I now start to move out towards the branch, and then onto twigs at the top there. So look, I'm just lifting the weight off my pencil as I go up, but look, I'm still twisting my pencil as I go. Right, so now that little sapling is now starts to resemble what it always wanted to be, a tree. So look, I'm coming up the side again, I'm dropping out, and I'm going up. Now look, I'm actually crossing branches here, because a tree is a rounded object, and therefore it means to say that the branches will actually come from the front, let's say from here, and they will continue to grow upwards. Right, now forgotten what I was going to say. Okay, right. Now look, each one of these branches are growing up towards the light, because that's what it did when it was a sapling, and it will continue to do that all through its life. So look, I'm twisting the pencil, and what I'm actually doing here is I'm doodling. Now look, I've got my pencil on the side. When I get up a little bit higher, I will put my pencil more or less upright. Look, and I'm barely holding it, and I'm twisting it as it goes up into the little twigs. Let me just zoom that in a bit tighter still. Here we go. Look, the pencil is really just dancing on the actual paper there now as I get up a bit higher. And look, don't always go looking for spaces. In other words, look, there's a space there, so therefore I better put something in. By all means put something in, but don't put something in there just because it's a space. Right, now I'm coming back down the trunk again. Zoom back. I'm coming back down the trunk again, and look, I'm putting a lot more lines on one side of the tree, because the trunk is a rounded object. and therefore light will fall on one side more than on the other side. Right, now I don't actually know what variety of tree I'm actually drawing here. That's irrelevant at this moment in time, because regardless of the variety of tree, they all have got this characteristic. This is what they want to do. And let me just get my pencil. Right, getting lighter as I go up the top into twigs. And they too will have just a little bit of shading, because although they're not as thick as the actual trunk, they're still rounded objects. Right, now I'm now going to pick, because I've got shade on this side and I've got the light coming in from this direction and above, I will now need to drop just a little bit of shading in there, in exactly the same way as we did when we was on the little shrub tree. Now, it is this what plants the tree into the ground. In other words, it came out of the ground. We didn't dig a hole and just poke it in there. So therefore it will have a little slight spreading, normally speaking, of the root area coming down there, and we need to drop that into there. Sometimes when I actually look at paintings, people tend to fail to put this little bit in, and as a result of which you can look across the field or the meadow and you get the feeling you can walk straight underneath that tree, because it's not planted in the ground, it's taken off like a rocket. So you can not just walk underneath the branches, you can actually walk underneath the tree. So we need to establish that every time on a tree. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this naked tree so that we can actually doodle with our brushes. I'm way out of line there. That's better. That's better. And this is the structure of the tree, and it will take on the actual overall shape of whatever the tree is going to actually be. Now, there are some occasions when you're just going to get more than one trunk coming up. Normally from a stump, and that's because somebody at some point or another has come along and decided they didn't want the tree, or they wanted to use the timber from that tree, and they cut the stump off, and the tree has said, look, hang on, I'm still growing here. So it will put out little tiny shoots coming off of the stump, and therefore you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 little new trees coming off of that one stump, and they will all be doing exactly the same thing. They will be trying to climb up to get the light. Now, there are some occasions when you're going to get a long bough coming off of the actual tree, and it too is trying to come up to the light when it's forming, and as it gets a little bit too long, the sheer weight starts to drop the bough down. But even so, at the last moment, the little tiny bits on the end of that bough will still be trying to go up. Right, so let me just zoom that in. There we go. So it will still be trying to get up to the light. Right, now I need another piece of paper here. Yeah, I've got a piece here. Right, on this next section, look, I've redoodled a tree, and look, I've made it a little less twig busy at the top here. And I'm going back to a pencil because a lot of your doodling will probably be done in pencil anyway. So let's get this canopy on. Right, now, assuming the light is going to be coming from above, and in this case I'm coming in from this direction, it means to say that the foliage at the top of the tree will be light or lighter than lower down the actual tree. And it will also be lighter on this side of the tree. And I'm going to be using sort of really 2-3 tones of green when I come to actually paint this. So I'm going to try and keep this pencil in roughly 3 tones as well. Right, now, so there's 1 tone. Right, now, down this side of the tree, it will be fractionally darker all the way down. And it will get darker as it gets lower down. Right, now, there's no way I can actually sit down and paint sort of or draw a million leaves. So look, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this in just a little bit closer. Look, on this outside edge here, I'm just going to, using my pencil on the side, look, I'm going to give an indication of a few leaves, and I mean a few leaves, because I can now drop back into some sort of tone there, and your eye will pick that up, and you'll start filling the leaves up for yourself. I'm just giving you a clue here as to what is going on. And as I go up, look, I still need to leave some sky holes up here, but I'm going to go in on a much deeper tone, because these deeper tones are the interior of the tree. In other words, we can see through these leaves, and we're looking through there, and that will be quite dark. But don't forget, this is a three-dimensional tree, so I'm getting branches and leaves going this way. I need to now bring them forward as well. Let me just zoom that back. Sorry, I forgot about that. Look, I need to zoom them back here. So here's the interior, and here are the leaves on the front of the tree, and so they're just sort of shading out. Let me try to explain this. Look, I don't know if I can do this. Look, let me just zoom the camera back a little bit. Right, look, here's my hand, right, and like so. Look, and these, my fingers are coming forward, so therefore they're throwing shadow underneath. I've then got another, I can't do it. Okay, there we are. Look, now look. In there is a much deeper tone, and it's throwing shadow onto my fingers. So that is the interior. Overhanging branches over the top will throw shadow on these here, and these are actually coming out into the light. Okay, so oh dear, I need to get my body back in its right order again now. Okay, here we go. So this is the way my thinking will be working when I'm actually painting. Now, because we've got these dark ones down here, look, I'm going to put them on the outside here, but they're going to be a little bit lighter, because these is the light side of the tree. Right, don't want too many of them. And I'm using the side of my pencil. Look, I'm going to zoom in again, Because look, if I go up on my pencil and I start to do them like this, I've got a little bit more control. But the big problem is when I do something like that, these are leaves, and when I start doing that, they're not leaves. Look, they look like a swarm of bees trying to attack the tree. All right, so I need to soften them out just a little bit with the side of my pencil, and I will be putting these on the inside of my tree as well, and not, once again, not too many. And be just a little bit careful where you actually put them, because, or the order you put them. Look, if I get them there, they're in danger of looking like a bird's nest, right? So I need to break them out just a little bit, so it's not bird nest shape. And down the back of the tree here, down the back of the tree, don't forget I've got branches and leaves coming out of the back. So I will drop that into a little bit of shade, and I'll put some darker ones down here. Darker leaves, that is. And when they actually go through there, I'm going to leave a little bit of this trunk. And if I do that, I need to bring it out the other side as well. I don't want a situation where something was happening with these leaves and they went in behind the trunk and something happened to them before they came out the other side. That is a strange thing, and you do get that sometimes when people are painting sky, or they got a chimney and the sky comes along and it goes up over the chimney, down there and along again, and it always comes out a little bit different, which means to say something happened to that sky and it was behind that chimney. You're supposed to be looking at the painting, but you're starting to wonder all sorts of strange things. Right, now, oh, I've got a bird's nest. Look, in because there is a lot of foliage here, the actual trunk of the tree will also drop into shadow. So I need to darken it there. Darken it all the way the time the leaves are thrown into shadow. But in this particular case, I'm leaving it light because these leaves are further back, so therefore they're not throwing the shadow on that bit of trunk. Right, now I'll shade that down just a little bit there. In other words, look, the light's coming from above here. And I will start to add a little bit more weight to my trunk as I'm coming down. What I'm actually doing is I'm strengthening the tone. I'm strengthening the actual trunk of the tree, so it's capable of holding all this foliage at the top. Now, having done that, now I've got this umbrella. I now need to increase my shade being caused by that canopy. I'm going to take it out. Now, obviously, in accordance to wherever that light is, that will change the length of that shadow. Let's zoom back again. So this is really what I'm going to be doing, or trying to do, using my watercolour paints. Okay. Get a little bit carried away here because I know I'm doodling and I'm really trying to explain something, but I want to start drawing. And time is of the essence on these YouTube videos. I really don't want to go into speed painting with a little bit of light music behind. Mind you, if you speed my voice up, that might help. Right, okay, look, on the end of this little tiny branch and twig here, I've just added a couple of little tiny leaves on there. The reason being is I don't want you to give the impression that this is a dead branch. Okay, so I've just added a couple in there. Right, I think that's sufficient so that when you come to do your doodling, you'll have an approximate idea about how to actually go about it. He's just carrying on drawing again. Right, hang on, Barry, stop, hang on there, look. Okay, look, we've got the light canopy at the top, we've got sky holes, and we've got deeper in sections within the tree. So I think in all fairness we can now describe this as bird friendly. So okay, birds, are you ready? Here we go. There you go. All yours. Well, look, I've just had to come back again. I thought I'd finish this section, but I've just had a complaint from the birds. It's not bird friendly. They've got nowhere to sit. So look, I forgot to put in the upper little branches at the top there. So there we go. Now look, when you put these in, put them in a little bit darker, lower down. But when you get up to the top, make them sort of a little bit more twig-like. Right. Now the tree's got bird seats in there. Okay. Right. A little quick word here about the brushes I'm going to be using. Look, this is a number 4 from the cheap set of 12 which I purchased. This is also a number 4 brush. They're both synthetic. Now look, if I level the two up, you'll see the difference in the length of hair. Now, it means to say that this one, being shorter hair, it's got a slightly soft end to it, but it's stubble really. And this one has got a slightly softer end to it. So I would suggest that if you're still following my videos, that you now need to start upgrading your brushes a little bit. So this one is very reasonably priced. I can probably get 2 of these for the price I got the whole set of 12 of my budget brushes. Right, now when I come to do the trees, I will suffer an awful lot with this one. So look, here's another one from that set of 12. It's a what is it? It's a number 8. It is a larger brush. The hair on the or fibres on it, a little bit suspect on the end, but it would hold a bigger reservoir of water and paint. So if that's all you've got, go with this. Look, I've got these little red tags on it so that you can actually watch them twisting as I'm travelling up my paper. Now I want to show you another brush. This brush here. Now this is a very long haired brush. Look, if I sort of put it alongside there like that, and it's very flexible on the end. It's called a rigger, or sometimes known as a liner. And the reason they're known as liners, because in my youth when I was a sign writer for a little while, when we actually did script or long lines on around coaches, doors and things like that. Yeah, I don't actually go back as far as coaches, by the way. Well, yeah, maybe I do actually. Right, okay, I'm digressing. Look, these hairs could be as long as 3 inches long. And of course we were using oil paints. So when we used to flop the end of the brush on the end of the scroll, as we were travelling round and coming round the top and starting to go underneath, the last 3 inches were still following the actual hilt of the brush as we went. So this is the brush which you actually saw me using on that opening shot. So I will be using this, showing you how to use it. Meanwhile, look, I'm going to do this, the first exercise, once again on computer paper. Yeah, I know it's going to wrinkle, but you know, I mean, say, I'm learning the process of learning how to use my brush, and I don't want any pressures on me at this moment in time. So a little bit of wrinkling, I can handle that. Right, now, on my palette here, I've got Burnt Umber. Let me just activate that one for you. Burnt Umber, which is a brown. It's a warm brown, actually. But trees are not brown. If I wanted to paint a telegraph pole, that's what I will use. Right, now, I've also got a bit of Prussian blue. It's a very powerful, strong blue, by the way. And I've got the chrome yellow, mid yellow. Look, so when I mix it with my Prussian blue, I get a green. Okay, so trees, they're not brownish, but if I add a little bit of my blue to my brown, I'll get a grey. No, he didn't, because he had the yellow there. Let's look. There's my blue. There's my brown. He's gone greyish. So trees, they're greyish, they're brownish, they're bluish, yellow, greenish. So look, I'm just going to knock these colours together without over mixing them when I start to paint. Alright, so now I won't have to show you the palette again. If you actually look at my piece of paper, you'll see what is going on, why I'm getting different colours within my painting range. Okay, right, here we go. From ground level, here we go. I'm twisting the brush as I'm actually going here. Right, now look, just like the pencil, I'm now travelling up the tree, out onto the boughs. And look, I'm allowing the brush to skid just a little bit there. Right, I'm now going up the other side of the tree, and I will go up just a little bit darker. Here we go. Twisting my brush. Look, I don't mind those little tiny wobbly bits on the side there. And out I go. Up into the branches. I need to bring that down a little bit. Right, add a little bit more dark on the side there. Remember that, look, they're fibres, so they need to travel up. This is why you need to work on this computer paper when you first start, because I know it's going to run into problems, but it doesn't matter. It's this act of painting and just getting used to using some of these colours. Now look, when you get up to the, I don't want to spend too much time on this, I just wanted to show you what is actually happening. Look, I'm lifting my weight off of my brush as I climb up higher, and the brush is, look, I'm up on the tip. I'm really dancing on that tip there. Now, you'll be very limited to how fine you can get at when you get up to the twigs. So what I'm going to suggest you do, that's that knotty little bit where the two branches separate, and what I'm going to suggest you do is that when you get up to those twigs, or out on the end of these, and you're going to be struggling a little bit there, what I'm going to suggest you do is that you just get your pencil and just touching on your paint, And look, just dance your way up there. Right, now, let me just zoom that in. Right, can you see those little twigs which I'm getting up here now? Now look, this is not cheating. If you get some clever clogs come along and tell us, oh, well, you can't paint little twigs. Just give them your brush and let them show you how well they can actually do these little twigs. Once they've had a go, just give them the pencil. they'll actually use the pencil. Pencil off at the top there. Look, I'm putting the pencil in on the actual watercolour. Right, that works quite nicely if you're quick enough, and you can actually use the watercolour. See, I can't do it on that one because it's dry, but look, if I make it wet, I can now put my pencil in. Oh, look at that. What a clever old clugs he is. Look, leave these little knotty bits in on the tree. They're really, really charming. And they add interest to your actual tree. I'm now going to zoom that back just for a moment, because I'm going to show you something else which is you might find just a little odd, but I'm going to do it. Look, when you go in, and it may get, just for example, look, it may get a little bit whitish along some of these areas around there. What I'm going to suggest you do is just add a little bit of water in there and let it float down and see what's going to happen. If you've made a bit of a mess of it, and you're going to make a mess of these things anyway, look, what I want you to do, I want you to get a little bit of kitchen roll and ruffle it up like that. Pad it round. I don't want a smooth pad on here, by the way, right? And look, just do this. Straight down, lift off. Straight down, lift off. By that process, and I'll show you one later, you can get a nice silver birch like appearance. I'm just going back with my paint now and just tickling in using the tip of my brush. So look, I'm really now painting wet on wet. I'm supposed to be doodling, but look, I've started. I can't resist it. I start painting. All right, let me just zoom in so you can see what I've been doing around there. Okay. Now look. Okay, I mean zooming in very, very close, but let's be honest. Nobody gets that close to a picture as such. They'll see it from about the distance which I've got here. It's a bit on the greeny side. So a little bit more brown, but this is what it's all about. It's about experimenting with your colours and your capabilities in what you can do and what you can't do with your brush. Okay, right, now I'm now going to take all this information we've been gathering and transfer it onto a little bit of cartridge paper. During this period of time, I will remain fairly silent. Well, in actual fact, I will remain silent. Silence is golden in this case. Right, now look, you know my thinking, you know my palette, you know my brushes. So I will doodle away, and I will be cutting some of this 10-minute doodling, cut it out a little bit, because it's really all about you getting the opportunity to see the rigger brush in action. And if I just continue on painting the whole thing, you're just going to be sitting there watching paint get wet on this occasion. So let's change the pace a little bit. Right, now I'm now going to zoom this in very tight. I notice on the actual monitor it is looking a little bit monotoned, so let's zoom right in. Now look, I'm going in very tight. I'm nowhere near this close when I'm actually doing the actual painting as such, but look, it will give you an opportunity to see one or two of the subtle colours which I've got in there. Let me just zoom this around a little bit. Right, now we need these little varieties of colours in there and tones. Bear in mind, as I've said all along, this is a living object, this tree. It is not made of plastic. So really I've just been actually relaxing there just for a few minutes, enjoying the act of painting, doodling away. We seem to be obsessed with this. Look, I'll show you a quick way of doing a tree. Well, why are we always looking for quick ways when the act of painting is a relaxation within itself? So let me just zoom that right back again. So relax and enjoy the act of painting. Right, now I know that video has been a little bit on the long-winded side, and I'm always saying that art needs to be fun. So here's a little something I will do to amuse myself and my grandchildren. Look, and I started off the video talking about birds on a stick. So look, here we go. Birds on a stick. Right, I will now pick up my brush. Get the grandchildren to put their fingerprints on there, by the way. I'll pop on some ears. And little wings. I will now pick up my pencil and I shall put eyes on the birds. And look, they're looking at each other lovingly. And the one on the end there, well, he's not over interested in actual fact. Look, he's going to sleep. Right, now I now need to put feet on the birds to stop them falling off the stick. I will then pick up my brush and give them a stick to sit on. Well, it makes me laugh anyway. Enjoy. Well, what do you think of it so far? Look, I know they're not seats, they're perches. It was just one of my senior moments. Bye-bye.